All right, everybody. Today I'm going to be basing these French light infantry using some Geek Gaming Scenics. So I'm just going to show how I do it. Show how easy this stuff is, really, not how I'm doing it. But yeah. See some of the bases I've done. These are the light infantry. Pretty awesome stuff, in my opinion. But yeah, I just wanted to show how easy this stuff is. They make it for bigger scales. I don't think I would use it for bigger scale just because when it comes to bigger scales, I like my stuff to be a little more cinematic for most of them. Of course, sometimes I just get bored and I'm like, I got to get these based. But yeah, I'm just using some thin down Elmers. Trying not to get it on the feet, but I've learned that's next to impossible. Going in between the feet, trying to cover up all the black. Could have painted them first. I don't think it's quite necessary, to be perfectly honest with you. Especially for this scale. A lot of people also paint the actual base itself, so, you know, the actual MDF. Again, I don't think it's necessary. I think this tan color, what of it does show through, looks great. So I'm not going to be doing it. So got the glue on there, and yeah, this is the hard part right here. This is how hard this is. Real intense stuff. Just kind of smush it down in there, give it a good shake, let it sit for a little bit, think about all my life choices. Let it sit for a little bit more, regret my life choices. No, I'm just kidding. Pop it out, give it a good flick. Got some on the musket, no big deal. Give it a good flick. And that's how we look. Now you can kind of see how the base is showing up. I'll show you how I fix that up. We kind of got that going on with these guys too. No big deal. All I'm going to do is just go over it again. You can thin it down more, but I don't do that till the very end. Once everything's dry, I'll thin this PVA down even more and go over. I try not to go over the grass. When I go to lock everything in, I'll thin the PVA down quite a bit. And I'll go over just basically the rocks to kind of lock the rocks in. But yeah, do a second coat. Can't really make out the bases, and I am happy with that. Doesn't go too far up their leg, covers up the feet a little bit, no big deal. 6mm minis, right? But that's kind of what they look like. I'm pretty happy with them, excuse me. The only other thing I'll do is I'll take some washes, just a strong tone, maybe a green tone, and I'll just hit some of the areas. You can't really see it here, but you know, it's a little darker here, a little darker there. Just a little bit of wash, just add a little bit of color to it. And then I'll add some flock. Tiny bits, tiny bits. I can actually show that real quick so you can see how small I'm talking here. Honestly, that one just fell out right there. You could use it, but I'll just go in here. Really, that's almost too big, but we'll use it just for the demonstration. Take some of the darker stuff too. And then usually what I do is I'll just take them, a little bit of glue, get these tiny tweezers, which I don't know where I got from, but they work perfect. Then I just take the flat end. That's what I was saying, I like these a lot. I suppose most tweezers have a flat end, but yeah. And I call that done. Like I said, might add a little bit of wash to darken some of it down, but yeah, that's it for today. As you can see here, I got... Oh no, I'm knocking stuff over. As is typical. As is typical of me. But let me move some of this out of the way so I can show you what I've got painted so far for my 6mm French for Marengo. Get them. This is what I've got so far. So I have a brigade of line infantry, actually a regiment, but this regiment was in its own brigade. So that is technically one brigade completed, even though it's a lone regiment in that brigade. This will be my command base. I'm just gonna, for that brigade. I can't imagine he was the most decorated brigade commander, as he only had his own brigade, so I'm going to be using this Hussar miniature as the brigade commander. I envision this in my head as, for some reason or not, he was given command of this brigade. They had an extra regiment, didn't have room for another brigade, so they're like, yeah, give it to that guy. Give it to him. Yeah, you're in charge of a brigade. That's what I imagine happened. Probably not the case, but in my army, that is the case. But yeah, that's where I'm at for that. I will paint him up at some point, but I'm going to take a break from the French. I do have another 2 battalions of these guys to go on this next brigade I'm working, and then I think I have 2 more regiments of these. A regiment of horse artillery, a regiment of dragoons. So I'm starting to get into the monotonous point where I'm painting the same thing over and over again, and it kind of gets boring. But it is what it is. Yeah, so I guess I can... Well, I suppose I can't. I was going to show the books I've used as a reference, but yeah. Anyways, that's how I paint. If I can get it in focus. Or how I base my 6mm minis. Geek Gaming Scenics. Small scale, all in one. I would say yes, please. Only negative is it comes in a bag. I put mine in some spare Tupperware thing I had. So yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.